Good to go. Again, I'd like to welcome those visiting via live web streaming today. So I would like to call the Corporation County of Bruce Corporate Services meeting to order. And again, ask anybody to declare pecuniary interest, either now if it arises down the agenda. First up, action items A, budget impacts.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Warden. This report has been circulated. It is related to Ontario Regulation 28409, so introduced first in 2009. It was expected to be reviewed in 2012, and it has still not been reviewed, the regulation, so it still stays in place as it was written in 2009, which requires a review annually by councils and recognition of the impacts, and in particular our amortization expenses and our post-employment benefit expense, which I have outlined, and we will be developing. It's just basically a statement that we will continue to develop our operating budgets and set our associated tax levy and rates, excluding both the amortization and the any post-employment benefits, in particular with the county. And there is a recommendation for that.
There is a staff recommendation. Do I have a mover and seconder? Ann, David, comments, questions? Mike?
Thanks, Mr. Warden. It's interesting. I always find it interesting when we look at amortization and then how much money we're actually spending on, and preserving or upgrading our assets. And I think it would be if we could bring those numbers together in some way and see where we are. So we're say in the 2017 budget, our amortization expenses would be 7.9 million. How much of that? How much are we actually budgeting to preserve those assets?
We have done that in prior years very informally, and recognized that, and that we know that our level of amortization, that what we are putting aside, whether it be for capital spending or in reserves, is the amortization is the levels are inadequate to meet our life cycle replacements. But we will, as we prepare the 2017 budget, bring that number back again for comparison.
I know we see them in many, in different formats, but it would be nice just to make a comparison. And again, I think and when we see those numbers, I think we have to keep in mind that how to use them. I guess we shouldn't use them.
Right, and
how to use them, because it's really just information and.
Right. And at September, we will be presenting the updated asset management plan, so that will provide you with additional information as well. And again, we always remind that it's based on historical, and that's where the difficulty lies as we go forward. Our amortization is all based on historical costs, where we're looking at replacement costs, which can be significantly different based on the life of the age of that asset. So that we'll have additional information brought forward by Citywide in that plan at our September meeting.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Ann?
So are you planning to go into a system of where it's actually included? Or I like it the way it is now. I just think it's easier. Like sometimes your amortization, it's maybe a building that you're going to sell, or things change in the future. And
this recommendation maintains it just as a cash budget, and we wouldn't be including the operating budget, and the tax rates and the levy will be established without using amortization.
Yes.
Rather, it'll be using actual capital costs.
So is that the accepted practice now, or do you have?
There is variations across the province. I think there was an expectation that we would see a regulation, or there would be some direction since 2012 when it was to be reviewed, and because it hasn't changed, I would offer in our evaluation, more municipalities are maintaining it in this fashion. Some have done a hybrid, which are recognizing, as Councillor Smith has said, recognizing what our amortization costs are, the 9.7 million, and then analyzing how that compares. But which is, while we don't officially recognize that amortization expense, we do a number of transfers to reserves in recognition of the capital assets that are required to be replaced in future years.
Yes, I like the current system myself. It's just my opinion.
Okay, any other comments? All those in favor? Opposed, if any, that's carried. Thank you. Capital budget.
So this document is circulated for information purposes, and it does reflect particularly some of the discussions that we just had and how we do try to manage our replacement costs with a number of transfers to reserves. And you will see that as you receive all of the capital budgets over the next 2 weeks. So just as a reminder that these are for information purposes, they are built on the basis of the prior 5-year and any changes that would be made, building on that, and then adding out, of course, the 5th year for this. These budgets will then be consolidated into the overall operational and capital budget, but based on our new template, you will be able to, it will be divided, so you will have a better analysis between operational and capital. And for those of you on a sidebar who have not, who have requested but have not received your Surface Pro so that you'll be able to manage through, they are available today. So if you have 15 or 20 minutes after today's session or over the lunch hour, our IT staff are prepared to deploy those today, so you can begin using them and hopefully find it as a valuable tool to as we go through budgets over the next several weeks. So in corporate services, we have broken it down into our divisions, and so the recognition, the first column being what was approved in 2016, and you can see the full amount. Just trying to make it a little bit bigger. Want to.
Doesn't want it.
There we go. So the 2016 column is, we've identified those expenditures that are included in it for a total of $954,440 is what was approved in the 2016 budget. And then if you want to take a look at the totals, and in the 2017 budget is what we're recommending is the $1.1 million. But this includes the $340,000 to our long-term care facility reserve that's been held in corporate over the last number of years. The recommendation continues to be brought forward, but unfortunately due to other pressures in the budget, we've never been able to sustain starting that reserve, building that reserve for future years. So it is currently included in the $1.1 million that has been reflected in this budget. So a number of items that we look at are transfer to reserves in order to be able to minimize the impact on future levies, and to have, instead of having our peaks and valleys, to be able to maintain a more consistent approach. So in legislative services, again, you will see the transfer to reserves that we are looking at under our records management program. Due to budget pressures last year, the annual transfer for records management was not completed. You'll recall in 2016 there was an initiative where we purchased photocopiers and ended our many years of leasing photocopiers, initiative by the purchasing division. So over the next, that's an 8-year program, so we would build back up. So rather than one large expenditure at the end of the 8-year period, $2,000 annually to that reserves to prepare ourselves. Similar with our furniture and the IT capital annually, the the minor replacements, and then back on a 5-year cycle with our desktops and printers. With respect to information technology services, you will see that as you receive capital budgets today, the desktops and the printers are the only thing that remains within the individual departments, and that information is based on prior years as we are working towards building an inventory analysis and that 5-year cycle to be able to provide better details as we move forward in the budget preparation. Information technology services, we have, this is the preliminary works that I have completed with the staff, and as we move forward over the next several weeks, we will finalize the details as we move forward. But there are a number of initiatives and in IT, they're divided into just a handful of programs within IT, including the licensing, and you'll recall that that was individually housed in each department prior to 2016, and we brought that all under information technology services and made interfund transfers where it was necessary and advantageous to the county to take advantage of subsidies that were available in some of our programs. The server software, including the SharePoint, is a big project that we are undertaking, have began with a pilot and will continue to identify how we move forward with that. The Unified Telephony Program, we had $125,000 in for 2016, and again in the pilot stages, and we'll determine how we move forward, but we do know that there will be additional funds required in 2017 to complete that program for the organization. Server hardware, backup storage, again, as we try to build that, but the approval at last committee meeting to move forward with the server hardware purchase will alleviate a number of those expenditures in the next immediate years. The network infrastructure and the wireless and the firewalls, we have again put together a program, and as we have the current staff reviewing that, we will be finalizing that and I guess providing a further detail as we move into the operational budget for 2017. The facilities that we maintain, Park Street and Cayley Street, I guess credit to the two supervisors that are on site there. They continue to manage the facilities. It's sometimes hard to recall that the building that we sit in is 34 years old, and it has been maintained well. And then on our flip side, the Cayley Street facility, some of it being 150 years old, and so the challenges that it brings along with it. But the ability over the last number of years to be able to transfer funds to reserves, to be able to build that up over the year in a consistent fashion helps us to maintain. So you can see that even though they're small amounts, when we get to the year that it has to be replaced, we're not in a position where we have that big ask that we've been able to manage it. So a credit to the supervisors in both of those facilities. The projects for 2017 at the Park Street facility will include the boiler replacement with some pre-engineering in 2016, ongoing heat pump replacement, and then some carpet replacement. Again, some of the carpet in this building is 34 years old. It has been maintained and managed, but we are moving towards the carpet tile system that has been introduced in our long-term care and also our library headquarters, and also this past year in our social services area. So we will be introducing that. You can see in here that we are in renovations as we speak, so part of that carpet replacement will have been advanced into 2016 as well as part of the building renovations that had been approved in the 2016 budget. For Cayley Street, a lot of the initiatives there are related to the boiler replacement and just ongoing upgrades. And in 2017, it will be the boiler 2 replacement and the courtroom 1, the engineered air unit. We continue to carry funds for unassigned upgrades to the facility, and we will be entering into negotiations later this year for the 5-year lease renewal will expire coming in 2000, some of them in 2017. So typically there are leasehold improvements that will accompany that, and we will be bringing those forward as those occur, and if necessary, utilizing reserves that have been established for that. The library headquarters is leased to the library board, and as such, corporate manages that. We've had upgrades to both of the furnaces, so we do believe we are in reasonably good position with the library headquarters, and it is now 21 years old. Again, we are continuing to manage it, but putting funds in reserves to be able to be prepared for any capital upgrades that may be necessary for that facility. And also recognizing the long-term care facility reserve of the $340,000. What's not included in here, but will be identified as a operational cost related to the financing, will be our project with ecosystems as we move forward for all of the facilities, and that $3.4 million program that was approved earlier this year to proceed with the upgrades in the museum, the 2 long-term care facilities, and this building here.
Good, thank you, Betty Ann. Any comments or questions on the 5-year capital plan? Milt?
Thank you. The long-term care, the $340,000. How come we continue to keep that? Is that something that this council or past council has really embraced, or is it just something that I remember when it was put there, but
there was a resolution a number of years ago that recommended that it be included in the budget, and that as staff I continue to bring it forward annually to see if there is any appetite to continue with it.
I just look at the wait times in both facilities, and I just question whether it's necessary. And I'm just simply asking the question.
I would probably refer that question to our CAO or our Director of Medical Services, Health Services.
Through you, Mr. Warden, I'm not delaying it, but I think it will, when we move into the Homes Committee, that there's a report that's dealing with the physical building, and it will probably at that point, it'll become apparent as to why we need to really start to talk about the reserve.
Other comments, questions? Looking for a recommendation. I don't have my computer in front of me.
The resolution is just for information.
Okay. Okay, that's just for information.
Sorry, there is a motion, and we would do this with all of the budgets, that it would just be received for consideration in conjunction with the 2017 operating budget.
Okay, mover and seconder, Mike, Ann, further discussions? All those in favor? Opposed, if any, that's carried. Thank you. Information items, improving accessibility at area beaches.
As you know, we have an accessibility advisory committee, and our deputy clerk is very active with that. And we recently had learned through a newspaper article and through some of our communications that the improving accessibility at area beaches had been picked up as a local story, and in both from our awareness, there may be others, but Kincardine at Station Beach and also at Lion's Head Beach, and this is recognized as that Saugeen Shores has 2 accessible boardwalks, and we just thought that this was a really another good news story that we wanted to share with members of council and the public to be aware of them.
So that is there for information.
That's pretty cool.
All right, what else do we have?
That
Sorry, I just
concludes.
don't have my laptop. Okay, next meeting, I looked at that this morning, September 8th. We have nothing in, sorry. Yeah, it is going to be September, sorry.
Sadly.
Yeah, good holiday, yeah. All right, motion to adjourn. Robert? Paul? All's in favor? Opposed, if any, that's carried. Thank you.